Hello there.
Oh, my boy, Obi-Wan, what they've done to you. Yep, guys, I've done it to myself. I've decided to continue watching Kenobi, and I'm coming to you right now with this episode 2 review. And I just have no idea which emotion explains my attitude now. Is it just shock, confusion, disbelief, discouragement? Because this show is actually getting worse. I thought it is impossible, but here I am, proven wrong by Disney Star Wars. The episode 2 starts with confused looking Obi-Wan impersonator arriving somewhere like a crime ridden ward when he's searching for little Leia, and obviously he just totally has no idea what the hell he's doing and just relies on the help of some random people. What the actual Fukushima. I just cannot picture the old Obi-Wan acting as a confused guy who has no idea what the hell he's doing at that point. I just cannot. I don't know, guys, if you have watched the Clone Wars. If not, I totally do recommend that, as Obi-Wan there is an absolute badass. To be honest, I didn't really like Obi-Wan in the prequels. I've regarded him as being a bit black and white, dogmatic, like following orders at all costs, not really thinking for himself. I wasn't a fan of him, to be honest. But in the Clone Wars, we have the entire different story. He's got way much depth there. He's explored. He's shown there as a very mature and wise Jedi Master. He's a good general, an excellent strategist. He's a great fighter, and his lightsaber skills are superior to Anakin's. Obviously, in the Revenge of the Sith, we have this final fight with Count Dooku when he basically is just cashed out at the very beginning of it. But that is not the case in the Clone Wars. You have multiple duels with Count Dooku, with General Grievous, with all other antagonists there, and Obi-Wan is extremely good fighter. He's also got his moments of vulnerability and clearly being torn between the Jedi Order and his personal feelings. He's not that black and white, not really thinking for himself Obi-Wan that I personally remember from the Attack of the Clones. He thinks for himself and he really is able to alone pull out very successful, dangerous missions that do require a great deal of expertise. I don't know about you guys, if you have watched the Clone Wars, then my favorite arc is where Obi-Wan takes on the identity of Hardin and basically infiltrates the crime ward. I really love his interactions with Cat Bane, who's one of my favorite characters in the Clone Wars and general Star Wars, so I absolutely loved it. I think in this one arc, Obi-Wan shows clearly that he's got balls from steel. This is my favorite arc ever in the Clone Wars, I must say. And I have really started liking Obi-Wan after it. So I really have no idea who this confused looking deadbeat dad is, but he definitely is not Obi-Wan Kenobi. So somewhere in the middle of the episode he finally manages to find Leia, but mostly because he just relies on everybody else and doesn't do anything himself. And I also think it is not a coincidence that everyone who's involved in it looks suspiciously diverse. You've got your average college gender studies major female empowerment activist, a black kid, and a Middle Eastern man all stepping in and helping this confused looking old white man who doesn't know what the hell he's doing. And all it's doing is just sending the message that Obi-Wan is not this cool, great, brave Jedi that you think he was. He's essentially worthless without all these supporting characters, and it is really that through their work he's achieved anything, rather than through his own strength and abilities and a training and experience and like everything else. Nah, he's not this cool guy that you thought he is. He's this tired, confused guy that has no idea what's going on and who just has to rely on everybody else. And the general message is, look, this is how white men achieve anything. I can't help but think that it is tying to this ridiculous ideology. I really wanted it to be a good Star Wars show, just free from modern day politics and just this college nonsense, but I see that we're not going to escape that. I can't help but think that it's preaching, and I have really hoped the show would be free from that and we would just get a very good, interesting series exploring predominantly the dynamics and the relationship between Obi-Wan and Anakin. I have really, really hoped that it will be this type of a show, but it clearly is not going to be. Leia has got her another Lyanna Mormont, Arya Stark moments when she's being constantly snarky and cranky with Obi-Wan, basically disrespecting him, and I absolutely hate that. You know, this guy has just risked his life to save her. Not only that, he's left Luke unprotected in order to go search her, save her, and return her to her loving parents. And this snarky little runt just mocks and disrespects him constantly. Also, they've just escaped the kidnappers, and at that point, Obi-Wan is well aware that those are the Inquisitors that are behind it. So they are both on the run, and this stupid little idiot behaves like she's on some kind of a school trip. She's running around, she wants to touch everything, she's talking like she just wasn't kidnapped and held hostage. I have no idea what the hell the writers wanted to achieve. Did you want to show that she's just so tough and brave that she just doesn't care about the minor inconveniences like being kidnapped at the age of 10? That probably will just give a major psychological trauma to every other 10-year-old, or at least cause them a considerable emotional and psychological distress. But obviously, Leia is so much about that, and she's not afraid of anything, and nothing can ever move or dysregulate her. And it just looks ridiculous because her stoicism is just paired with this totally afraid, scared Obi-Wan that tries whatever he can to just keep the low profile and to just return her home without any major confrontation. This just really is completely silly and just goofy. Then Leia obviously outsmarts him and just runs away from him, and it looks even more stupid because she runs in a really funny way, like very slowly and very carefully, and it really looks like the Obi-Wan is holding back. They really tried to make it like a major chase scene, but it just looks ridiculous. When a grown man, a Jedi, a soldier, an ex-general just cannot outrun a 10-year-old girl. Obviously, Obi-Wan just bumps into everything on the way. He's got major collisions, while Leia just has no issues whatsoever, obviously. And guys, I really have no idea how you're doing right now, but I'm telling you, it is getting worse. So Obi-Wan is trying to escape with Leia, but obviously he just can't handle it, so the diverse character saves his ass. And that brings us smoothly to our another female empowerment moment, when Obi-Wan just goes major simp mode and starts praising Leia and acknowledging how stunning and brave she is and how much it just reminds him of certain someone, a long dead female friend from the past who's also been a strong woman and she was a leader. You know, I really think at this point it is just impossible to make this show more obnoxiously packed with feminism, and I am really getting the vibes from the last season of the Game of Thrones right now. Do you guys remember what they did to Jon Snow? How the guy was essentially stripped from his own story arc, and then it just seemed that the entire show hates him for just being in it? And I'm getting exact same vibes from Kenobi right now. It looks like the show just hates this man for just being there. And at the end of this episode, we have yet another humiliation for Obi-Wan. It's the moment when the third sister, Reva, the one that's absolutely obsessed about finding him, finally catches up with them. And it looks like there's going to be some major duel between them. And Obi-Wan just totally shits himself. He runs away. He's trying to hide. It looks like he's really scared of her for some reason. Because obviously he's never fought before. He never fought Ventress, Count Dooku, General Grievous, Cat Bane, you know. Nah, he never fought with absolutely anyone who was even mildly dangerous, you know. So right now he's absolutely shitting himself when he says that woman, yeah. So Riva just charges into the room ready to take Kenobi down, and we basically learn why she's so obsessed with finding him, because she just loudly and boldly proclaims that Anakin is alive and he basically wants to find Obi-Wan at all cost, and she will be the one to deliver him to him. So yep, that's it. This is it. That is her entire motivation. That's why she's so fixated about Obi-Wan, and that is also why she's went into such a great lengths to capture him. Basically, just to be a good woman to Darth Vader. I don't think that's particularly empowering. But as she's preparing to engage Kenobi, the Grand Inquisitor arrives and yeah. The guy just gets casually stabbed right into the stomach by Riva. Just where have I seen that before? And I am just like, man, just what are going to be the consequences of this action? Not only it creates major issues for other Star Wars shows where the Grand Inquisitor is still a major player, but also what we will do to Riva? Like, how is she just going to explain that? Are other Inquisitors really that stupid to just believe it was some kind of unfortunate accident? The other thing is, how the hell does she know that Darth Vader is Anakin Skywalker? Is she really that important? And that really is the problem in introducing original characters into a well established storyline that already stands on itself. Like, we don't even know where she's coming from, and suddenly she knows such a sensitive info that I believe Anakin did quite a lot to hide. It yet again just doesn't make any sense unless it's going to be somehow explained later on. And you know, does it also mean that she's aware that Leia is Anakin's daughter? Because that would make sense why she thought that kidnapping her is a good idea to bait Kenobi. But to me, it just destroys entire Star Wars at that point, because wasn't the very point of separating the twins and giving one to Tatooine and another one to the Organas to precisely protect them from Anakin? So you're telling me right now that they've essentially failed at that. And you know, there's really more issues with this episode, as if what I've already said wasn't enough. Like here, where Obi-Wan is restrained and clearly really beaten up by those guys. In the scene right after that, we cannot see even a single bruise on his face after he's clearly got punched. There's not even a blood coming out of his lip or nose, like totally nothing. And I don't know about you guys, but I am really getting the vibes from this, I think, second episode of the Book of Boba Fett, when Boba gets pretty much nearly killed by this Wookiee and then just thrown like 5 meters and he just hits his tank. And right in the next scene, he just casually appears, just walks into the room in his like bathing robe, and like nothing is even happening. He's not even limping. And to me, it really looks clearly like this Wookiee has nearly killed him. And then he just casually walks into the room like nothing happened. Another thing is, why can Obi-Wan just casually drop this poisonous gas and just walk away and nobody's stopping him? Like, he's just casually announcing he's going to drop it, then he does it, everybody collapses, and he just walks away. Yeah, like, what? Another issue is her worshipfulness, Leia. Like, how is she able to lift like some heavy iron stick and basically like knock Obi-Wan to his knees? Like, is she really that strong? What does she even need Obi-Wan for at this point? Will Riva's personality actually be something more than just being an angry bully? But I guess, the major question is, do we actually need any more Star Wars shows when all they do is just destroy the old Star Wars universe? Like, why is Disney making more Star Wars movies only for the sake of deconstructing the characters that originally lifted this franchise up and were the first thing that actually attracted the viewers? They are the thing that the actual Star Wars fans want to watch. Have we actually reached that point that people will just watch whatever just because it is Star Wars? I mean, it will have to end at some point. You just can't milk it forever. And the real question is, will the original trilogy, possibly the prequels, the Clone Wars, the Rebels, will that forever carry this franchise on? Or is Star Wars just going to totally die at some point? And that is something I cannot really answer. So, anyway, guys, thank you for watching again. Please let me know what you think about the episode 2 of the Kenobi series, whether you agree with me or disagree, whether you think that I am reading too much into it, or maybe I'm just writing and saying very unfavorable reviews, and maybe I am wrong about what I said. Maybe that is the case. So please tell me what are your opinions about it. Your thoughts are very well appreciated here. If you've enjoyed what you just watched, then please subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers, guys.